Oh hi! Thanks for watching my video. Today we're going to be talking about magic. Magic has been in The Sims from the very beginning, and by that I mean The Sims 1. And seeing as we're fast approaching Halloween, I thought I'd make a video looking back on how magic has evolved in all of the Sims games. I'm just going to be talking about old-fashioned Harry Potter witches and warlocks type magic, so I won't be speaking much about vampires. Maybe that's one for another video. Makin Magic was the final expansion pack released for The Sims 1, and it added a whole new dimension to the game. Once the game is installed, you'll notice a character called the Mystery Man paying a visit to all residential lots, leaving them with the Magical Starter Kit, which included a wand complete with charger, some magic coins, a spell book, a hole in the ground, butter, toadstools, and toad sweat. Yummy. To the untrained idiot, it appears to be a random selection of random items, but to someone with the magical know-how, you'll realise that what you have been given are the ingredients needed for the toadification spell, which can either turn your target sim into a toad temporarily, or it'll turn your sim into a toad temporarily. Any sim can become magical simply by obtaining a magic wand. Your sim can learn a range of new spells and charms, and each one will require specific ingredients. If your sim has had their fun with magic, they can give up their magical powers anytime by selling their wand back to the Mystery Man. The main thing your new magical sim needs to know is that magic should only be conducted within the new world of Magic Town, which, by the way, is the perfect spot to stock up on ingredients. Magic usage is strictly monitored. If your sim casts spells or charms outside of Magic Town in front of non-magical sims, your sims will be visited by the spell checker, who will fine your sim for their reckless behaviour. The only way to avoid these fines is to make sure there aren't any non-magical sims around when you cast your spells or charms. Although both adults and children can be magical, they have separate options when it comes to spells and charms. Adults can cast spells like Love Struck, which either makes the targeted sim in love with you or strikes your sim with lightning. And children can cast spells like Smiley Face Jr., which either makes the targeted sim their friend or drops their mood. There are 10 spells for adults and 3 for children in total. Adults can cast charms like Dish Wish, which cleans every dirty dish on the lot, or makes loads of dirty dishes appear. And children can cast charms like Cake Maker, which gives your sim a cake, or forces loads of toads to appear. There are 11 adult charms and 6 charms for children. In case you haven't gathered by now, all magic has both positive and negative outcomes, which depend on a range of factors such as mood, fame level, and your sim's intentions. If your sims cast enough spells on their lot, they'll notice some magical items spawning from the ground. They're mostly useless, except for the crystal. They allow magical sims to gain special abilities that will help them with loads of things, like putting out fires, entertaining guests, or teleporting. There are 7 different coloured crystals, and each colour offers something different. Along with all the gameplay features I've just named, there is also a beanstalk. The beanstalk starts off as a small plant, however, with enough effort and love, it can grow, and at some point your beanstalk might just grow large enough to climb. If your sim climbs the beanstalk, they'll find themselves in a secret lot in the clouds. Magic in The Sims 1 was very well done and had enough gameplay to keep players engaged. So let's move on to magic in The Sims 2. Unlike in The Sims 1, this game did not have a dedicated magical pack. Instead, magical gameplay was a feature within the expansion pack of Apartment Life. The Sims 2 was the first game to use the names witches and warlocks as opposed to just magical sims from The Sims 1. In order to turn your sim into a witch or warlock, they'd need to befriend a high witch, which is a witch who has maxed out their skills in either good or evil magic. Ask them to teach you the ways of the light or darkness, depending on which witch you meet. Good witches will be wearing white robes, neutral witches will have a brown coloured robe, evil witches will wear a black robe, and atrociously evil witches will have green skin. Once your sim is part of this occult, they'll have robes of their own, and they'll be able to travel to the hidden magical neighbourhood. As you would imagine, witches and warlocks were able to cast spells. Spells in The Sims 2 fall under one of three categories: good, neutral, and evil. The more spells your sim casts determines what sort of category they fall into. For example, a witch that casts only good and neutral spells will become infallibly good. You could also be a neutral witch, an evil witch, and an atrociously evil witch. Very good witches will have high success with good spells, and evil witches will have greater success with evil spells. Good witches will typically want to cast spells that improve other Sims' lives or environment. Evil witches tend to go for the opposite outcome. The success rate of spell casted will depend on how skilled your witch or warlock is. Unlike in The Sims 1, if a spell fails, there won't be a specific consequence. All that will happen this time is that your Sim's needs will drop. There are a total of 33 spells, 10 good, 13 neutral, and 10 evil. The Sims 2 has more spells than any other Sims game. Potions and objects can be crafted by witches using their cauldron. The type of thing Sim can craft will depend on their alignment, so evil witches can craft items that good witches can't, and vice versa. They can even sell their crafted items if Open for Business is also installed, and if Pets is installed, witches can even adopt a feline familiar. Moving on to The Sims 3, this time we had a whole expansion pack dedicated to magic and the supernatural. We're going to focus on just witches here though. So in The Sims 3, witches were able to cast spells, charms and curses. Some of those would serve the purpose of improving the lives of them and others around them, and others would cause misery. The term warlock isn't used in The Sims 3. Instead, the term witches is used to refer to all genders, and the Supernatural pack introduced the mysterious town of Moonlit Falls. In order to become a witch, a teen sim or older can purchase the bottled witch's brew from the alchemy store, and with that they can brew the elixir. Witches can only use magic when they are a teen and older. Younger Sims will have a few magical abilities, but they won't be able to do anything meaningful until they are at least a teen. The only way for a Sim younger than a teen to be one is by birth, so witch parents will likely have a magical baby. Witches don't have anything in their appearance that separates them from other Sims. They can choose to wear robes, gowns, or a pointy hat if they want, but they don't have witch-specific features. All witches will receive a classic witch wand and will unlock the ability to learn spellcasting. When travelling, witches will use a magic broom by default. Similarly to The Sims 2, witches in this game can also have familiars. So let's talk about their magic. Witches can have jewels if they have a high enough skill level. The witch with the highest level will likely be the victor. Witches are limited by how much magic they can use though. They have a power meter which depletes every time a witch uses magic. The kind of magic witches use are spells, charms and curses. The type of spells witches can perform are things like get another Sim to do a rain dance or conjure up an apple. Charms are a different type of spell. They can be targeted at another Sim, usually to benefit that Sim and improve their lives in some way. An example of a charm a witch could cast would be to fulfill the other Sim's needs for them. Nice, right? Curses, on the other hand, serve the opposite purpose. They are intended to make the targeted Sim miserable. For example, they could summon up a ghost to come up and haunt the other Sim to give them a scare. And finally, we have The Sims 4. The Sims team switched it up a bit this time. Instead of introducing witches in an expansion pack, they were introduced in a game pack with the new title of Spellcasters. Spellcasters can be made in Create a Sim, or they can be born one if they have magical parents. Alternatively, non-magical Sims can become spellcasters by completing a quest for one of the magical sages. There are 4 types of magic in this pack, and 3 of them have their own dedicated sage. If you wander around Glimmerbrook, you might just bump into the sages of practical, mischief and untamed magic. And there's also alchemy. But your best bet of bumping into them would be to travel to the magic realm. You can get there by travelling through the portal in Glimmerbrook. The types of magic aren't mutually exclusive, so your spellcaster can learn every spell for each type. Your sim will have a spell book and every spell they learn will be visible here. You can learn up to 24 spells and 15 potions. Familiars can be acquired along with new magic wands and equipment from the Diagon Alley looking shopping centre, and spellcasters can travel on broomsticks. Similarly to The Sims 3, there is a magic meter for each spellcaster which depletes when magic is used. Also, like The Sims 3, Sims can also duel each other, the most skilled spellcaster likely being the winner. You can have a friendly duel, a heated duel, or you can duel for goods like knowledge, artifacts, or ingredients. The more your spellcaster learns and uses magic, the more progress they'll make to unlocking perks. There's a total of 24 perks to unlock, and they can be viewed and selected by you. However, beware! The more magic your spellcaster does, the more chance of a backfire or a curse. An example of a curse would be the Curse of Awkward Embraces, which forces your sim to give others an awkward cuddle. Sounds awful, right? As your spellcasters learn more about magic and increase their skills, the higher they move up the ranking system. There are 6 levels to being a spellcaster, starting with the Apprentice and working up to Virtuoso. And that is a high-level overview of how magic, specific to witches, has evolved in the Sims games. Who did magic better? What do you think? I'd love to know in the comments. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. You know I love it when you do that. Happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.